Good afternoon, everybody. It's Adam Fitzgerald, and just making this video to remind my audience and anyone watching uh, that on August 23rd, 2021, 9/11 Free Fall Radio, which is a podcast hosted by Andy Steele, the operations manager at Architects and Engineers, had made a 2-hour, 45-minute special report regarding me and Nelson Martin's DJ Thermal Detonator, and to a very small extent, Ryan Dawson, Ed Brotherton, and there was a couple of others, but mainly their vitriol was toward myself and Nelson Martin's and how we trolled them on Facebook regarding their positions. Now, Andy Steele, I didn't know who he was. I just knew he was the host at 9/11 Freefall. But my disdain for anyone is Craig McKee, who is the lead writer for Architects and Engineers, and he's also a blogger. He's not a 9/11 researcher, nor is he an investigator. He condemns people like David Chandler, Wayne Costi, Ken Jenkins, notable engineers and experts in their fields, and also people who are affiliated with Architects and Engineers. Bernie Suarez was also invited to be on Andy Steele's show, and he is a former member of We Are Change LA. And during the podcast episode, they basically spent 2 hours and 45 minutes condemning myself and Nelson about our attitude, how we're aggressive and rude toward them. And therefore, by default, our work should be dismissed, our points. Now, nowhere within that 2-hour, 45-minute time frame did they ever address our work or our points that we make. And they think that we are for the official narrative because we believe that, or we know that planes were hijacked and they crashed into the World Trade Center, Pentagon, and Shanksville. For them, that's the official narrative. For Craig McKee, for Andy Steele, and Bernie Suarez, and anybody affiliated with Craig McKee, like CIT team, the people that are slowly being integrated with Architects and Engineers. And I think the reason why they're doing this is so they can destroy the organization from within. But that's, to them, that's the official narrative. To them, 19 Islamic men who hate our freedoms hijacked 4 planes and crashed them into the World Trade Center, Shanksville, and Pentagon. That's all 9/11 is to them. And they don't know anything previous in the months, more importantly, in the years leading up to the events of September 11th, and also what happened afterwards. Yeah, some of these people are anti-war, which is admirable. However, they know nothing about the history of, say, the intelligence services, like the CIA, like the Israeli Mossad, like the Pakistan ISI, or the Macbeth in the Mutbadath in Saudi Arabia, the GID, and how they integrate and manipulate these terrorist groups from within and influence them to do a terrorist act so that the entities like the State Department or the Pentagon or foreign lobbies of the Gulf and Israel could take advantage for a greater, broader geopolitical goal. And so they know nothing about this because they don't study and they don't read. So on August 28th, on Saturday, this past Saturday, myself, Nelson, Ed Brotherton, and Ryan Dawson appeared to respond and gave our points. Now, these are long episodes. Now, we broke it up in 2 parts, and I'm going to link them in the description box. And it's entitled Adam Fitzgerald and WACLA, which is short for We Are Change LA, respond to 9/11 Free Fall Radio. And part one is involving Ryan Dawson. Part two is not. Ryan Dawson was only brought up for a little bit, and we invited him so that he could say his piece. And I think it's only right because I don't know why they even brought him up. But they wanted to group us together and say, these are defenders of the aficionados and you should be against them. Well, I would tell you, the public, judge us by our work, whether we're rude or arrogant. And I'm only rude and arrogant to no planers like Craig McKee, not to the followers of Craig McKee, because I think they're victims. But to Craig McKee, yes, and to Barbara Honegger, yes, and to CIT, yes, and even Loose Change. These people advocate for infantile and erroneous theories, which hurt, reputable researchers like a Nelson Martins, like a Ryan Dawson. And we can't get anywhere with these people standing in the way. And so I'll link both parts. They're very long, but they made, Andy Steele and Craig McKee and Bernie Suarez made a lot of declarations which were false, outright false, especially regarding We'll Change LA. And basically, all they did was complain about how rude we were. We wanted to basically show them up, and we did. Now, there's a couple of curse words here and there, but we behaved responsibly, and we even talked about the areas that they don't talk about, or they don't debate, or they don't inquire about. And so we didn't want to bore you, the viewer, the listener, in regards to our 7-hour response. And so the first part is approximately 3 hours, I think 20 minutes. And the second part is 4 hours and like 10 minutes. We do address a ton of stuff relating to 9/11 that these people know nothing about. And so I will end the video there. I will link both parts because they're on Odyssey. I could not upload them to YouTube because they would consider it bullying. How disconcerting that is. But yes, I will link both part 1 and 2 here so that you could see them. And they're on Odyssey. And I will see you within the next video. Take care.